feeder fishing. Let's start over. Alright, welcome back. This is M-Dog. We are playing Russian Fishing 4. I want to give y'all another quick guide to another one of the basic concepts in this game, and that is one of the styles of fishing that you're able to do, and that is bottom fishing, or in this case feeder fishing, fishing with a feeder rod, as we look at the skills under bottom fishing here. And that's what we're going to be doing. I did want to start off in the tackle store just to kind of show you what you're going to be looking at needing to purchase. And you're in the first video I did for this game, and really just introduced the idea of what are some things you can do when you first start your character starts playing the game. And I mentioned there that it is it's difficult in the very beginning to do the bottom fishing, or at least the feeder rod fishing, because it's a little bit cost prohibitive. I think you need around 60 silver to get going. And because what you're needing to do is you actually do need to buy a feeder rod. Any of these in the Sorrento line are great starter feeder rods, and I think they will last you for a while, in fact. And then for reel, you just need a basic spinning reel. Your first one, if you are doing it early in the game, is probably going to be one of these, or if you're waiting a little while, maybe you get a Libra, but you're just going to get a basic spinning reel to go on your rod. Line, with bottom feeding, you are going to want to go with nylon line, probably not braided, because since it is stationary and just sitting there, you want the line to actually not show up. You want it to be invisible, or as invisible as possible to the fish. You are not going to need lures or floats. You need a hook. I think we're using some Simmons Happy hooks right now, but these are fine. Based on the kind of bait you're going to use, you'll pick a hook size early on, just going with one of the small hooks. And then you will need a sinker. And so we have several of these pair sinkers that we're using on our setups. And that'll basically get you going. Baits, you can use different baits. Worms are fine, easy to come by early in the game. We've also tried maggots and casters and pearl barley. I'm trying to think what else I've tried. I'm still pretty early, so I haven't experimented with a lot of different things, but you do want to be careful on some of the more like corn and sweet dough. Some of the other baits, you may get a bigger fish than your early rig can handle, so careful on what baits you do use early on. You can put a leader on there to protect your gear a little bit, and that's it. You're not going to be doing feeders, even though you are doing feeder fishing. You unlock this later, not till you get to, I think it's bottom fishing, maybe going 35% skill development. Then you can at least use the classic feeders. But initially you don't have to worry about that. You also don't have to worry about ground bait. You can if you want. I have not used ground bait yet, but if you don't know, ground bait is, in this case at least, at early levels, will just be something you're throwing into the water to try to attract the fish to your location. So let's open up our inventory. These are my two feeder setups with these two. I haven't purchased a third yet. You'll see a lot of people do kind of settle on using 3 at a time. That keeps you pretty busy, but it's like a good flow to have 3 going. But right now we just have 2. And if you open up your rod, if you've just purchased it, then none of this will be filled out, of course. You've probably set one up before if you've played the game at all, but you'll just assign your reel by clicking here. you'll sign. So like let's take this off real quick. Oops. Just to show you what this looks like. You click on this and then you choose the reel you want, and then it'll attach there. Same with the line, same with your sinker. You can put a leader on there if you want. Actually, we're not using leaders right now. And then choosing your hook. What hook size do you want? And then of course your bait. You don't do PVA stick right now. That will be down the road. But now let's go. Here we are at the Mosquito Lake, the first like significant place you come, other than the like starter cottage where your tutorial is. Pretty early in the game you'll be here, and if you saw my first video you probably know where I'm going right now. I guess I'm a creature of habit. Once I find a spot that I like, I tend to go back there. But we're going to set up our feeder poles and see if we can't get at least one thing caught. But I do want to kind of show you how I set them up. And there's different ways you can do this, and just kind of finding the way that you like the best. Here's our little spot. So we have done a lot of float fishing over in this area here and really had some success. We've also done some spinner fishing here, and that's been good as well. But right now we're doing bottom fishing. So for now, we're going to cast kind of down this direction. Early in the game, you aren't the best caster until you build your skill up, so you want to be careful, try not to throw it into the weeds so you don't lose your rig. And we're going to turn it this way, actually. You press 0 to set it down. And then you want to, if you see the on the screen it says if you hit Y you can reel it in. You do want to reel it in until it goes tight. See how it's, I'm just tapping Y there and it's tight. That way you make sure you're hearing the bells appropriately. Now let's pick up our other one. By the way, this one's going to have maggots on it. That first one I think is worms, but we'll double check that. So let's see if we can get a little different throw here. We may already have something on the other one. Alright, now we'll turn this one next to our other one so we can see them both pretty easily. We'll get this one going, and then we will... Yeah, so you hear the bells going off on this first one we put down. And there clearly is something on there. Yeah, we're using worms on this one. So let's pick it up and see if we can reel it in. Okay, it is on there. It's pretty small, but kind of check our friction brake. We can turn that way down. So we're going to reel it in and see what we caught. It is something very small. Pull it up to the shore here and see what we got. We got a little Chinese sleeper. Alright, so immediately you just want to throw it back out and reset it up here. And let's get it tight so that we can hear it if something gets on there. So that's nice. This is the basic way to set them up. I like to kind of turn them a degree, what would that be, 90 degrees away from where they're cast. So like if we were throwing straight out into the deeper waters, I would probably turn it this way and then set it up. But either way, it's nice to set them up near each other so that you can just zoom in on them and look closely. Now with only 2 set up, what I will sometimes do is either pull out my spinner rod and just spin fish a little bit while we're waiting, or even do a little float fishing. So we'll do that. And the nice thing is, you just listen for the bells, right? Which I hear some bells. Seems to be our worm again. Let's pick it up and see if something's on there. And it is. A little bigger this time. That last little Chinese sleeper was pretty small. So try to keep it tight so that the fish doesn't have any slack to be able to get off too easily. Kind of look at it over there. And these are small enough fish here on this first Mosquito Lake. Not that there aren't big fish here, there are. But with the bait and hook size we're using, we will thankfully, for the most part, likely catch things that we can actually reel in on our equipment. Now we've got something on this one. So as soon as we put that float rod in the water, our bait's probably gone over there. That spot's a pretty good spot, so I'd be surprised if something hasn't already eaten that worm off. But we're here to look at feeder fishing, so I want to show you as much as I can before we stop this video. And I shouldn't let that slack go in it like that. Alright, there we go. So we caught another little common roach. Personal record, longest cast. Let's straighten it up and let's go check on our poor worm over here. We're just going to pull it straight up in case something's on it. Oh, it is. So we got fortunate that the Chinese sleeper stayed on it as long as it did. And I feel like I hear the bells again, so let's go check it. Yeah, it's the worm. We're having really good success on our worm. I think we've only caught, what, one thing on the maggots. We want to pull this one in. Another small fella, it seems like. Common roach. Alright, let's try something different here. Let's do a little pearl barley on this one. Just to change it up. Get it tight. Make sure we're going to be able to hear it. And I don't think anything's on that one, so we're good. Those worms are overperforming, so let's try something else. See if we have time to catch something over here. And I think with 3 set up, it would be a lot harder to find time to do anything else. If you've got them in good spots and you've got bait that the fish are hitting, it would probably be quite difficult. So we get a little bit of a breathing moment here. But this is kind of the basics of bottom fishing. And, you know, we're just working on getting our skill progress up. Eventually we will be able to use the, I guess is it paternoster? But this is where you can attach the mesh cage with the to your line so that you can get a little more ground bait, use the ground bait to attract a fish and all that. So looking forward to working our way up to that. Also, we just recently, for the first time, I've gone to the winding rivulet. So we're still getting to know that new area. But for these purposes, I figured we would start off here and show you a little bit about bottom fishing. Yeah, go ahead and see if we can catch something here. Yeah, it looks like we did. Looks like a roach. Nope, perch. It's a perch. And like I said, the other thing I will often do. Oh, well, perfect timing. All right, this looks like it might be a little larger. Yeah, not quite as tiny. Still pretty small, but not quite as small, maybe. Let our friction break up a little bit. I see it out there. All right. So that was on the barley, right? Yeah, 592 gram common roach. Ooh, that was a good cast. I like that one. Well, that might bring us something good. So let's look at the info here. These maggots, we've got one piece left of our maggots, but wow, did that already catch something? Okay. As we see which one will come through for us next. So, but as I was saying, not just float fishing, you can also pull out your spinning rod. And let's put our basic spinner, our basic lure on here, and we'll cast it over here. See if we can't multitask. Alright, let's put this down. We just started to reel it in, so... Ooh, it's our barley again. Okay. Seems a little smaller. But when you're working on just, earning some early silver and also working on getting your skills up a little bit so you have a little more control of the fish and all that, better casting, this is a pretty good place to do it. I do think at the other location you run into the problem of there's just I think more fish that can wreck your equipment. So maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty comfortable fishing in this location now, so I tend to feel pretty good about it. We're gonna reel this in. It's just and I don't know if it was the location of that cast we made with it, but this maggot should catch something no problem, and it just hasn't. Hey, what's up, Rift? Welcome back. Alright, so let's get this out here. And maybe we'll pull one more in. There's another personal record. We'll put one more in on one of the lines. I'm guessing this might have something small on there. Nope, it doesn't have anything on there at all, so let's just set it back down. I think we're going to catch something on this line here now. That maggots will pull something in for us. Alright, we can go back to reeling in our spinning rod. We've got some bells jingling back there softly, so it could have something small on there. Alright, let's look at it here. Okay, so one problem is this line seems to have slack in it. And I don't know why. Let's check and see if a fish is on there. It is. So I believe the fish was maybe swimming towards us. And so it wasn't really giving us a lot of bell action, right? But as predicted, that maggot did catch us something here. And so anyway, we'll pull this in. I hope this has been helpful. I just wanted to... as I've just really enjoyed getting into bottom fishing a little bit, wanted to post a just basic guide. If you have any questions or feedback, anything you want to ask about bottom fishing in this game, please let me know in the comments below. We'll try to cast her out here. But if not, till next time, enjoy Russian Fishing 4. Let's make sure we're off the bank here. All right. Thank you for watching. Yeah, Rift, it's going well. I'm trying to do just a quick basic guide, just based on the little bit of info that I have learned so far. Trying to do a video a day though. I like to keep putting stuff on YouTube and promoting the game that I'm enjoying. So that's what I've been working on, but we're done with that now. Oh wow, something just got